Our court correspondent Joseph Akable joins me now on phone so we can go through a few things. Joseph, let's start from the very beginning. Let's talk about Frank Davis and the quashing from the courts. But let me ask about his demeanor. I know because of the mask it's difficult to read the facial expressions of persons these days. But generally, what can you tell us about how he behaved whilst chairperson of this panel was talking to him?
He was very calm. He actually stood upright as the justices of the court through the Chief Justice addressed him. And it's worth putting into context that the concern they raised stems from the Legal Professions Act. That makes the point that when you're a lawyer on record in a case, you cannot grant media interviews commenting on that particular case while it remains pending. And so the point that the court made was to the effect that because he has been announced as counsel in the case, he should be advised that that particular law is still in force. And so the point was also again made that other lawyers who are not parties to the case, you can give such commentary and grant such interviews, but you should not do so in the robe that the lawyers were into the courtroom. And so that was the point that the justice made. But he was calm and he stood up and acknowledged and said he was so advised after the judge had made a particular point. And so it's not too clear as to who will be speaking on behalf of the second respondent going forward, because Mr. Frank Davis is the one who has been handling that. And as it stands now, it will mean that they would have to get a lawyer who is not a lawyer on record, perhaps, to be speaking on their behalf. And so that remains to be seen. And that's why you realize that there was no reference made to the team of the second, the petitioner. There was no reference in the sense that for the petitioner's side, you have Dr. Dominic Ayine who addresses us, who is not a counsel on record. The counsels on record for the petitioner so far is Mr. Isiedu Nketia, Tony Letha and Chachuli Chikata. Those are the two counsels on record, and so that's why no references were made to that particular side.
Talk us through the general atmosphere in the courtroom today. This was supposed to be a continuation of what was started last Friday in terms of the cross-examination, lead counsel for Mr. Kufuor Akoto-Ampao.
It's quite calm, and for those who are privileged to be in the courtroom, it's that of a varied reaction. So there are instances where you hear people laughing depending on what responses comes in. There are instances where you hear people sighing to say that, I mean, what is happening? And there are instances where people are like, okay, this shouldn't be asked. And there are instances where you get a sense that people are reacting in a manner that suggests that they are surprised by a certain response that has come out. But I mean, it's been that of paying close attention to the process that has been happening so far, because it's been a bit of a calculation and it's been a certain narrative that is being put across that if you are in a courtroom, you are fortunate to be in a courtroom and you are not paying attention to the narrative in terms of how it's being carried across, you may lose the entire plot. And so it's that of attentiveness, and there are moments of varied reactions, either of excitement, either of surprise, or disagreement with a response or a question in the courtroom. And they mostly come from different quarters. And so you have the petitioner on his side, on the right-hand side of the court, while you have that of the first and second respondents. The first respondent is actually in the middle, and you have the second respondent on the other side of it. So that's how it has been so far.
Joseph, there were, of course, you've talked about that NSMQ moment where Isiedu Nketia was given the calculator again this time around. But, you know, it got heated at times, and we've seen that the judges had to come in a lot more times today, either because Mr. Chikata has raised one objective or the other. And so there's been a bit of the judges coming in often today.
Yes, at a point, it sounded actually like Mr. Akoto-Ampao was getting a bit upset due to the number of times that he was being interrupted by lawyers for the petitioner. And the judges have come in a number of times, one, because sometimes the same question is asked a number of times, and it relates specifically to the total valid votes, and that question came up a number of times because each time Mr. Chikata came in, the point was being made that the figure that was being referred to was different from what is in the declaration by the Electoral Commission, which has been attached as evidence by Mr. Esiodun Ketia. And so Mr. Akoto-Ampah kept laying the foundation by making reference to what figure he's referring to, and that sounded a bit repetitive on some instances. And so the court came in to remind him that that question had been asked and already answered, and each time it followed through with that. And so that is what has accounted for the interjections that we've seen today. But beyond that too, when there are objections and when there are clarifications that the panel needs to seek from the lawyers too, they come in with those clarifications as well.
And the court has reminded Mr. Akoto-Ampah that he has today to do his cross-examination. The time will not be extended.
Yes, the Chief Justice did make that announcement, and the context for that too is that, I mean, we know that this is a hearing that is time-bound in the sense that the court is working and has already indicated that it is complying with CI 99 to ensure an expeditious hearing of the case. And so the court did indicate to him that he has today to finish. It is worth putting into context that aside from Mr. Esiodun Ketia, who is testifying, the other individuals who are to testify or will be cross-examined, as because of the current system of filing a witness statements instead of the past where you have to now lead evidence. And so when Mr. Esiodun Ketia is through and is discharged by the court, we know that the EC chairperson, but even before the EC chairperson will take a turn, there will be Dr. Michael Pesa-White, who will be the second witness for the petitioner. Then the respondent, the first respondent, will call upon the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah. Then aside from her, in terms of the second respondent, there will be Peter McMenu, who has been given a power of attorney by President Akufo-Addo to testify on his behalf. And so it is because of the time the time that the court is working with, that's why that indication was made as well by the Chief Justice, and he made the point that he should finish that. And so we expect that Mr. Akoto-Ampah will finish that today.
And Joseph, we've seen a few people on television, but who is in court in terms of the three parties?
I spotted Professor Nana Jinopoko-Ajiman. He was Mr. Mahama, who is the petitioner in this case. He was his running mate in the 2020 election petition. She came in midway during proceedings. But by way of Mr. Mahama himself, he's not in court once again. And he's been represented by Mr. Esiodun Ketia, who is again in the box testifying on his behalf. There is also Sami Jemfi, who is the National Communications Officer of the National Democratic Congress. The National Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Samuel Fusampofu, came into the courtroom midway into proceedings as well. So he is also seated in the courtroom. Then there are other members of the NDC who belong to the legal fraternity, like Dr. Dominic Ayine, the former Deputy Attorney General, who sometimes speaks on behalf of Mr. Mohammed's legal team. There is also Edu Jitamaklo, another member of the legal team, is also present in court. Marietta Briapio-Pon is also in court, together with another legal practitioner, Fahad Castle, also present in the courtroom. In terms of that of the side of the respondents, the first respondent specifically, the AC chairperson, Jane Mensah, is in the courtroom. She is actually seated and flanked by her deputies. On her left is Dr. Bosman Asar, on her right is Samuel Tete, as well as the Director of Communication, Sylvia Arno, is also present in the courtroom. By way of the second respondent side of the courtroom, I spotted the NPP chairman, Mr. Freddie Blay, a short while ago. He actually exited the courtroom when the first session ended, and we understand that he's leaving the court premises, and so he's present here. There's also the General Secretary, John Buedu, also present. Henry Nana Boache, who is the National Youth Organizer of the NPP, the governing NPP, is also present in court. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General designate, Godfrey Yeboah-Adame, is also present in the courtroom observing proceedings. And so that is by way of some key individuals that I have cited in the courtroom so far, Mavi.
All right, Joseph, this is supposed to be a short break, so we'll allow you to take your seat. Maybe grab some snacks and take your seat so we won't miss anything in this proceeding. Joseph Akable is our court correspondent. The court is on recess now. In studio with me is Kojo Yankson, who's also been following with this. The processes so far. We started at about 9:30 this morning. It's still Johnson Esiodun Ketia in the witness box, and it is still Mr. Akoto-Ampah cross-examining him.
It's been a fascinating study this morning, and it's even better for us because we have something to contrast it against. Yes, last week on Friday, we observed Justin Amenuvo, who represents the first petitioner,
The first respondent.
The first respondent, thank you, the Electoral Commission. We observed him cross-examine the witness, and we observed how that went. I think Mr. Ampao also had the advantage of observing that. So you can tell that he's taken a completely different approach to what we saw Mr. Amenuvo do. Mr. Ampao appears to be extremely methodical. He is intent on keeping the witness to the issue. He is intent on keeping the witness to his questions and nothing more. The
ISIS lawyer?
The witness.
Okay. Chacha Chikata?
No, the witness.
Asiedun Ketia?
Yes, Mr. Asiedun Ketia. I don't know why his name wasn't coming to me, but he is a skilled orator. He's somebody who, if you allow the space, will convey his message to you by any means necessary. And I think Mr. Ampao observed that from the cross-examination that was done by Mr. Amenuvo. So he is seeking to limit Mr. Asiedun Ketia's ability to use every question as a platform to provide the information he wishes to provide. So he's trying to keep him to the questions he's asking. We are yet to see whether that's going to yield positive results or not, but clearly it has resulted in a very methodical cross-examination where they move step after pedantic step towards some inexorable conclusion that we are all going to hopefully see by the end of this process. It's been fascinating to watch the differences between the two cross-examinations.
In terms of the strategies being used here. So you can join the conversation on social media, particularly on Twitter. Just use the hashtag #ElectionPetition and let us know how you're following and your thoughts on the processes so far. Our petition update here on JoyNews is in association with Petrosol Clean Fuel in full quantity. Is always a delightful experience. DBS Roofing, we truly are your roof experts, and Koa Mixture, the immune booster for your general well-being. Could you let's talk about those, the calculator moments again. I guess the National Science and Maths quiz and the quiz mistress will be trending again today. There's a part 2 of it.
No doubt, no doubt. And you see, for us, lay people observing what's happening in the Supreme Court, all of these things look like novelties, things that are, of interest and in some cases amusing to us. But in reality, these are simply necessary processes, steps, in order to certify and ascertain facts. You want your witness to either confirm or deny a fact, and you have to have the fact. Sometimes that fact can only be arrived at using a calculator. So it's amusing to us. It gives us endless memes, but no doubt these are things that are necessary for the processes in the Supreme Court. You can tell the Supreme Court justices have been very quietly and patiently, observing some of these processes, even though the rest of us at home, who are the other panel of judges, as far as this thing is concerned, we have found them endlessly amusing.
Let's try and find out from Samson Ladiayenene, who's thankfully joined us. There were some technical things that played out in court, and we want to get a better understanding. Samson is a lawyer. Very good afternoon to you, Samson Ladiayenene. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, Mamabi.
Great. So there was the initial issue of admissibility. Can you explain all those technical objections being raised by Chacha Chikata to us who are not lawyers, but we're interested and we're following?
Okay, so I think the question of admissibility was raised in respect of the video that was going to be presented, correct?
Yes, sir.
Great. So the general principle, as you may have seen, for example, when Anas produced his video on the judicial corruption and some of the judges were indicted and had to appear before the disciplinary committee, the point of law and practice was that the piecemeal or piece together footages was not going to be admitted, and therefore he needed to present the entire raw footage so that they know what started to what point. And often, naturally, lawyers, when things are being supplied in the courtroom, we will raise objections on some of those grounds. I remember Dr. Ali Gabas, for example, when the trial was going on and Manasseh Azure's recording of him was to be presented and it was being objected to, the intervention we needed to make was to be sure that we had the full detail of it and to be able to identify the custody from which it is coming from. But you see, there's one thing about the process. Once you allow the witness who is in the box to identify the document or thing for the purposes of the cross-examination, and they identify it correctly, you will have a difficult task now saying that it should not be allowed in on the record. So I think if you follow, it may be on the basis that the witness or the particular document or thing had already been identified. Once it's identified, then it goes. So I suppose that is what has gone on. That's the small technicality that I can explain. So while the general principles are there, there are also the exceptions to the general principles. As we were talking about last week, for example, the rule that I referred to as the rule in Abuaba, the traditional, it means that it says that if you kept quiet when the evidence was being introduced, then you will not have the opportunity to object later anymore. So your objection must be timeously done. Once you don't object when it's being presented, you don't come back later and say, oh, forgive me, but I forgot. I should have objected to this, and I am now, no, it will be too late.
And then, Samson, just before you go, help us also understand. So, Asiedun Ketia is testifying, but to what extent? Maybe I should rephrase because I don't want to get you into trouble. What is being picked out of his testimony?
Right. So I can once again help all of us to think about what generally a cross-examination is intended to do. And as you mentioned earlier, before you started this, you spoke about the fact that the purpose was to discredit him. Yes, it's a major part of what we do in court. So your credibility is important to be used to weigh how we should take what you say. So he has presented a witness statement, which is his testimony. And it is that testimony on the back of which the cross-examination is being done. As I explained the last time, we don't do examination in chief anymore because your testimony, which is on oath, is your examination in chief. So this is now the cross-examination. The cross-examination is intended to test or put what you have said and your document through the judicial test. It is after it goes through the judicial test and it survives that you may win a case. So in this case, he clearly has started on the point, on the note. He started on the note of seeking to question or put the credibility of the witness in doubt, that he is not a credible witness, on the basis that he had made statements earlier suggesting something contrary to what he's talking about in court today, with regards to not being able to say straightforward that the petitioner had won and that the petitioner was actually the victor in the election. So he used various statement that unfortunately it appears that, did I say unfortunately? It appears that he was pinned down, and the witness was also very clever. He said, I can only talk about what I said, and as far as what I said was concerned, it was projectional. And then issues about whether when particular statement was made was concerned, whether it was made before or after the declaration and all that. Then the second part, which he now is focusing on, is not that much of seeking to discredit the witness, but now seeking to take the, like they say, gold is what it is because it goes through fire. So it's now testing the evidence of the witness. And so they are doing the math. And he does it and says, this is the number you got, right? That number crosses the Article 63 threshold, which is that one must have crossed the 50% mark, must have gotten more than 50% to be electable or to become a president-elect. Then he says, well, that's the first respondent, chairperson's, numbers. Then he's asked questions about them. So you can see that now his focus is not on taking things outside of the courtroom or anything, but staying right there on the number. And that's what leads to giving him the calculator to do. And you can see, like Kojo said, Akoto Power is, if you like, a Methodist. He's being very methodical. So he's not in a hurry to jump anything. And you could find, even in the courtroom, the judges said he was lumping up a number of questions. Ask one, and then proceed after that. If you like, the law, many times, is also a question of logic and psychology put together. So that's what is going on, to seek to prove or disprove the case of the petitioner.
All right, so I'm saying, why aren't they giving him time in terms of limiting him? We know that he's been told that he cannot go beyond today. But Samson, I guess we have to have that conversation maybe later on, because we see that the justices are back to take their seats. So we have to take our viewers and our listeners back to the Supreme Court to continue hearing this case. All right, we will be taking you back to that courtroom pretty shortly. Samson Ladi-Ayenini, very, very grateful for your time. Kojo still here. Your expectations? We're going to be going the whole day, it looks like.
Well, and Mr. Ampao has today. He has to make the most of it. He started off by, first of all, seeking to get the witness to, admit that the petitioner, or perhaps the witness themselves, the witness himself, had pretty much declared the petitioner as the winner at some point, whether before or after the declaration. And then there was some back and forth over the exact time some of these press conferences were done, who spoke at them, and so forth. But I believe we have a lot more to go right now as we enter the second leg of this cross-examination.
The total valid vote cast obtained by the second respondent as a percentage, if you calculate the total valid vote cast obtained by the second respondent as a percentage of the overall total valid votes of 13,119,460. What percentage do you get?
The percentage
obtained, the percentage I obtained, assuming these figures are all correct, 51. Assuming the tallies are correct,
Yes.
then the percentage comes up to 51.302%.
By the way, have you provided any evidence in your witness statement, or is there any pleading in your witness statement which is saying that this figure is wrong? The figure of 6,730,587 contained in your exhibit B.
My Lord, we tendered in regional collations for Eastern region to demonstrate the fact that those tallies there, the tallies that were arrived at were not exactly reflecting the votes.
We'll come to that tally in due course. But I'm telling you that even that tally, assuming it is right, will not make a difference as to whether or not second respondent crossed the 50% threshold. But we'll come to that. So now, from your exhibit B, the petitioner obtained 6,213,182. Not so.
Yes, my Lord.
Now, can you tell the court what that figure is as a percentage of the 13,119,460?
If the tally for the petitioner is correct as stated here, the percentage will come to 47.359.
No, but even if it is not correct, what is it? Because this, you are talking about
47.359%.
So whether correct or not, that is the percentage. Not so.
That is the percentage reflected in these figures.
Yes. Now, so I'm putting it to you that here again, second, your petitioner had not crossed the 50% threshold, more than 50% threshold.
According to this data, yes.
Yeah. And now, you notice that these figures on exhibit B, your exhibit B, do not contain the Petition South figures. Not so.
Yes, my Lord.
So what the chairperson of the first respondent said on 9th December was that if you were to add the whole registered voter population of Petition South to your petitioner's total valid vote, it will still not make a difference as to who had crossed the threshold. Is that not so?
Yes, my Lord.
Is that not correct?
She said so.
But is that calculation not correct? Is that
unless I recalculate.
okay, so I'll take you through it. So, you are invited to add the total voter population, registered voter population of Petition South, which is 128,018 to the 13,119,460. Please, I know what I'm doing. I'm prepared for this thing. You add the total voter population, registered voter population,
of Petition South.
Yeah.
To the total valid votes here, which is 30,119,460.
When you add the total registered population of Petition South to the 13,109,460,
Yes.
I got the figure 13,247,478. And
What figure did you get?
13,247,478.
No.
Okay, then let's do it again.
Now, can you tell the court what is the percentage of the second respondent's 6,730,587 of that figure? I think you got it wrong, Bravo.
My Lord, it comes up to 50.806%.
Now, if you add the whole of Petition South votes to the petitioner's valid votes as of that time, tell the court how much it comes to.
Petitioners' valid votes as per these figures.
Yes. That is 6,213,182 plus 128,018.
Let me see. Months of
128,000
100
and 28,018.
28
018.
128018.
Yes.
No, there's some fundamental problem. Thank you. Yeah, Lord, you get 47.867.
Now, you want to...
Just a moment, let me do another calculation.
It's 47.874%.
No, I'm getting a different figure, 47.867. I don't know whether that is.
But you can clearly see that...
Please, my Lord, give me just one moment to... Give me a minute to cross-check something. Yeah.
So it's 47.867%, not so?
Yes.
Good. So you can see that if you add the whole of Petition South's registered voter population to the petitioner's total valid votes, and calculated the percentage, you get 47.867 for the petitioner.
If the figures are correct, yes. But the problem is with the changing figures.
We'll come to
At
that.
every
Don't
point,
worry.
new figures emerge, so you don't know which one you are using.
Don't create problems for your heart. We'll get there. You see? So, now, if you go to the 9th December declaration,
Yeah.
and you add the whole voter population of Petition South to the total number of valid votes cast, what total will you have?
If you add the whole of Petition
South.
voter population
Yes.
to the declared total number of valid vote cast as per the Electoral Commission's declaration,
Yes. Yes.
you will get 49.
I've already asked that question. Okay.
You get
Very well.
49%.
Now, let's proceed to your summary sheet, the exhibit E. Before then. Now, subsequent to all these things, the results of Petition South were declared. Is that not so? And
Yes, my lord.
And the total number of valid votes cast for Petition South was known.
Yes, my lord.
And that number is 99,436. Not so. You can check it from your exhibit, which you have attached. Your exhibit. Attached to your exhibit C as the very first exhibit. Sorry. It's attached to your exhibit C, the first presidential election results summary sheet of the constituency of Petition South.
Okay.
So look at your exhibit C, and the first document after that, you see it. So you see that it's the same. I'm talking about the total number of valid votes cast.
And it is 97,227?
No, my lord, if you do the actual calculation, you get 99,000 votes. No, yes. My lord, I'm saying that the 99,436 is the actual sum of the valid votes here.
So you are saying that the figures on the exhibit are wrong?
the totals of the figures are wrong, but the specific figures that each candidate obtained is correct. If you do the total, you find out that the total valid votes is...
Then you have to go through that exercise
Very
before you are doing what you are doing.
Very well. Now, can you... You can't use the system to confront him. So, can you do the addition? 46,379.
Document are we referring to?
Exhibit C.
Yes. I don't see them. I don't see them. The pink sheet for Technicalities. Okay, okay. Yeah, can we go?
Yeah. Well, the next one is 52,034.
The first one.
For the petitioner.
Yeah.
And then for Christian.
Sorry, the first one.
You start from the beginning of the figures.
Yes. For the second respondent,
Yeah.
he obtained 46,379. The petitioner obtained, we'll just add, that's all. Petitioner obtained 52,034.
Yeah.
Christian Andrews obtained 720.
Yeah.
Yvonne Green Street, 46. Ekua Donko, 24. Henry Herbert Latte, 16. Hassan Ayarga, 54. Kofi Percival Apalu, 24. David Apasera, 45. Bridget Jogwenuku, 19. Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rollins, 29. And Alfred Kwame Asiedu Walker, 46.
My Lord, the total is 99,436.
Correct. So now, if you add the 46,379.
My Lord, on the face of the pink sheet, the valid votes cast was 97,227.
So does that make the actual valid vote you just got wrong?
No.
Does it make it wrong?
I thought that we're dealing with figures
No, we are dealing
that
with...
have been signed to by agents. If we are correcting the figures, then that is the invitation we give for all of us to sit down and correct the figures. No. But if...
You see, we are currently in court, so it is for the court looking at the figures to make a determination of the correct figure. And I'm saying that when you do the addition of the actual figures obtained, you get 99,436. Do you dispute that?
I don't dispute that.
Fine, so let's go on.
I don't dispute that.
Now,
but the total indicated is different.
Mr. Kindly ensure you don't speak at the same time as counsel.
Yes, my lady.
Also, when he's giving an explanation, he should be allowed to complete the explanation.
When the explanation has nothing to do with the matter. Very well. Now, so, if you add the total valid votes from Techiman South to...
Please mention the figure that you are referring to.
Okay.
Because as the witness is pointing out to you, on the same form, there is another figure as a different figure as the total valid votes cast.
My Lord,
so refer to the figure that you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying that if you add the total valid votes of 99436, which you have confirmed, to... will you allow me to ask my question? If you add this figure to the actual total valid votes and announce on 9 December, that is 30,121,111, what total do you get?
My Lord, I never heard 13,119 has been announced as
no.
you claim.
You see, Mr. Nketia, we have gone through the calculation of the actual figures with you, and we arrived at 30,121,111.
Yes, so, my Lord. My problem is
with
the announced.
Please, if you add the 99,436 to that figure, what is the total valid vote?
My Lord, if I may hear the figure so I can
go ahead
for you.
99,436. 99,436.
436, yes. Plus
13,121,111.
13,121,111.
How do you get?
You have 13,220,547.
What? 13 what?
13,220,547. Which is also a new figure.
Yes, my Lord.
But on that exhibit, the total valid ballots is 97,227, and then the total votes cast is 99,437. So which one are you? 436.
My Lord.
And then rejected ballots 2,209.
Yes, my Lord. This is obviously a clerical error, because if one was to add the actual figures, you will get as the total valid votes cast in Technicalities South, the figure 99,436. And the witness has just confirmed that by the calculation, that the actual valid votes cast.
No, but we say, that's based on an assumption. Clearly, it is based on an assumption.
My Lord, which assumption?
The assumption as to which of the figures are correct.
Well, my Lord, these are the figures that we have. There are no other figures that they have demonstrated. These are the official figures.
Yeah.
Yes. But, my Lord, I'm responding to your Lordship's question that these are the official figures. And when you add the votes obtained by each candidate in Technicalities South, my Lords, you get a figure of 99,436. So what is down below is clerical errors in doing simple arithmetic.
So, if you can remind us, what's the question? If you can remind us, if you can remind the witness.
The question is, if you add the 99,436 to the 13,121,111, what is the total? No. This is let him do it, please.
When I add the two figures you quoted, I had 13,218,896.
Yes, that is correct. Now, so if you add the 46,379 that the first respondent obtained, second respondent obtained in Technicalities South, to the figure announced, declared for the second respondent and at the press conference of 9th December, which is which is 6,730,413. 6,730,413.
6,740,000.
730, not 40. 730,000.
6,730,000.
30,000.
413.
13. And you add 46,379. What do you get?
46,379. We have 6,776,792.
Yeah. So, can you tell the court what that is as the percentage of the 13,218,896 218,896 that you mentioned a moment ago.
Come again,
13,218,896.
Yes. 51.
51.267. 51.266. Okay. So you can see that if you were to add the actual votes that the second respondent obtained in Techiman South to his total votes as of 9th December, second respondent would still have crossed the 50+ percent threshold.
My Lord, I wouldn't know, because the figures that we are contesting here, you have the same agents signing onto tallies allocated to presidential candidates and then signing onto totals. My Lord, with respect, we are calling it clerical error. I don't know whether the error was in the totals or the error was in the tallies allocated to the various candidates.
But you see, you do a tally based on the primary figures. Is that not so? You don't do a total first and then from the air, and then you come and fit in the specific figures. Your totals your totals are based on the primary figures. Is that correct?
That's correct. But so if the primary figures are wrong, the totals will be wrong.
Hold on. So the totals here are the ones we are dealing with, and they come up to 99,436 as you have
the totals
calculated.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Lord, the totals on the various tallies, when you put together, is 99,436.
Yes.
But I cannot test to the validity of the various figures.
That's your problem.
And then the totals, because both the totals and the tallies have been signed onto by the first respondent's representative and the representatives of political parties.
But I'm saying that from these totals, second respondent crossed the 50+ threshold.
Well, from the totals we see here, yes.
And the petitioner was below that threshold. The petitioner obtained 47.396%.
From the figures we see.
Yes, yes, that's true. Now, yes, he said yes, of the figures we see here. That's what he said. Now, again, if you go to 10th December, that is, and you look at your exhibit B, now you notice that if you add the 99,436 to the total of 13,119,460, what do you get? What do you obtain?
The figures again, hello.
You add the 99,436 436.
436.
To the total valid votes cast as announced or in the press release of 30,119,460. What figure do you get?
You have 13,218,896.
Very good. Now, can you tell the court now, and if you add the total number of valid votes obtained by the second respondent, that is 46,379 in Techiman South, to the total valid votes obtained on the press release, that is 6,730,587. What figure do you get? 6,700,000.
You are talking about total valid votes.
Yes.
We haven't agreed on which are the total valid votes, so I would prefer you mention the numbers so that I add them for you.
Okay. If you add the 99,000. 99,000. If you add 99,436 to the total number of valid votes of 13,119,460 as in the press release, what do you get? Press release of 10th December.
You have 30,218,896.
So now, if you add the total number of valid votes obtained by first respondent of second respondent of 6,730,587 to the total number of valid votes he obtained in Techiman South, which is 46,379. What do you get?
My Lord, as I said, let me mention the figures and let me add for you, because what is the total valid votes business is still in contention. So just let me have the figures and I'll add them for you.
The figure is on Exhibit B. The second respondent obtained 6,730,587. That's your Exhibit B.
87. Plus
46,379.
46,379. My Lord, it gives a total of 6,776,966.
Good. Now, what is this figure you just mentioned as a percentage of the...
Are you not taking us back?
No.
Okay, let me...
No, my lords, what I did originally was to add the total votes for Techiman South, all of it, to the petitioner. What I'm doing now is the actuals. That's what I'm doing now. Now, so what is the percentage of the 13 million, of the 6,776,000?
13 million.
96, yes.
I have the 6 million figure, but I want to hear the 13 million.
The 13,218,896.
%51.267%.
And when you add the 52,034 to the total valid votes of the petitioner, as in your Exhibit B, which is 6,213,182.
6,213,182. 182. Plus
52,034. 52,034.
34.
Yes. What is that figure?
6,264,216.
And what is the percentage of that figure? What is that figure as a percentage of 30,218,896?
30,000,000 I beg your pardon. 218.
896.
896. 47.388.
Now it's 47.396. Do it again.
Let's go over your figures again.
So. Oh. Very well.
Very well, my lord. Yeah.
So, my question.
No, you say we should do it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, add $52,000. And I said it was not. I said it was. No.
Accepted, then added for a
percentage, yes. Okay. So, what is the percentage of the figure you obtain of 13,218,896? The figure you obtain as a percentage of 13,218,896. Yes. The figure you mentioned. Well, that's why I wanted to do the addition again.
I'm really worried about her not getting the records. So I said you could say the last thing you said, you didn't speak into your microphone.
So, second petition, the petitioner obtained 6,213,182. 213182 in the press release of December 10. So when you add to that figure 52,034, what is the total?
52,034 plus 6 2 and 3 1 8 2 6 2 6 5 2 1 6 1 47.396.
Correct. So here again, when you add the actual votes obtained by the two candidates to their total votes as published in the press release, second respondent crosses the 50+ threshold.
We haven't agreed on the actual votes.
No, but I'm saying that in terms on the face of the documents, second respondent crosses that threshold.
On the face of this press release?
Yes. And on the face of the document, the petitioner obtains a meager 47.396. Not so.
My Lord, the figure on the face of this document, 47.396, I can't tell whether it is meager or not.
I'm happy that your concern is only that it is not meager. Now let's look at your summary sheet of the 275 polling stations that you've attached as Exhibit E to your witness statement. Constituency, the 275 constituencies.
Yeah.
What's that one? What's that? Now, you will notice that at the tail end of that exhibit, you find the summation of the total figures of votes that each candidate obtained. And you also indicate what, from your calculation, each candidate obtained. On the side, that there's a difference of 568.
Yeah. Yes, my Lord.
That's all. Now, so let's look at let's look at the total valid votes obtained by the second respondent on that spreadsheet or summary sheet. Yeah. It is 6,776,065.
My Lord, it's 66. I see 66 here.
66, sorry. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the total number of valid votes obtained by the petitioner is 6,265,276.
Yes.
Correct. And
6,265,276, yes.
Yes. And from the EC's calculation, based on the EC's total valid votes of 30,218,600. What is that? No, my lords, that is the NDC. The last column is the NDC's votes. The EC's calculation of total valid votes is the column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the right. That is the EC's calculation.
And the total valid votes.
Yes, total valid votes, yes. And the number, the figure there, my lords, is 13,218,633.
Yes.
Yes.